Always, whatever combination Tony La Russa puts down, it wins. The Cardinal lineup is hot. Mark McGwire, Ray Lankford, and Jim Edmonds all homered last night. The Cards have hit 92. Garrett Stephenson is 6-0. 2-0 lifetime against the Marlins. He's on the hill tonight. And we welcome you to Busch Stadium. Cardinal baseball tonight outside. There's been a little rain. In fact, it's raining very lightly right now as we get ready for the Florida Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals, game 2 of this 3-game set. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everyone. I'm Joe Buck, along with my partner Al Raboski. And Al, why do you give me that look? We had a nice night here last night, a little bit of everything, but it started with what you and Dan just talked about, the good pitching of Darryl Kyle. And when you go into a night like tonight, you start with Garrett Stephenson.
And you hope he feeds off of what Darryl Kyle did last night. And he's 6-0 this year. You mentioned that he's 2-0 lifetime against the Florida Marlins, so he has all the ingredients for what you hope for is a good performance.
Let's take a look at the Pizza Hut division standings, and they look the same as they did last night, at least with the top 2 teams. The Cardinals are 26-18, a game and a half up on the Reds, who won last night out in Los Angeles. And then after the Reds, well, it drops off. This is basically a 2-team race, and that's kind of nice. You can concentrate on one other team if you want a scoreboard watch in the month of May.
I really don't see one team running away with it, so there's going to be a race all year long.
Well, let's talk about winning and what winning means to a ball club. The season can become a grind. Tony talks about what it means to win.
Well, there's an old saying, there is no bad win, and you take it any way you get it. You know, if you just got 2 or 3 heroes, but the best win is when you have a bunch of guys that contribute, because everybody's got a good feeling in the clubhouse, and more importantly, when the different parts of the club win a game, like the pitching, the defense, and the hitting. You know, you always want to feel like you have more than one way to win. Not that we have to outscore them or we're going to pitch, we can't score. It's nice for the guys to think we can win a game in each of those ways.
How come, Al, when I hear that soundbite, I think of Mark McGwire, and I think of Tony La Russa thinking about him in the last couple of years and comparing that to what is a total team effort in these wins in the here and now.
Yeah, there was times where it just seemed like the team waited for Mark McGwire to do something special. Well, he did things special the last couple of years, but nobody else did anything around him. Now, Mark McGwire is the happiest guy in the world because there is a great compliment to Mark and also the pitching staff. When you look at last night's game, you scored 10 runs. That's great. It takes pressure off the pitching staff. But when you get a starter that goes 8 and strikes out 11 in the game, he takes pressure off the hitters. And of course, the defense is always there. They always play great defense, and that helps keep down the opposition and the run scoring, and it also helps the pitching staff.
Yeah, the bullpen should be well rested for tonight's game if needed. We'll take a break, come back. Hope the rain stays away here in St. Louis tonight. Cardinals and Marlins next. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Bud Light. The great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. By your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers. And by Southwest Airlines, who brings freedom to the net with affordable fares and frequent flights. Log on for low fares. Southwest Airlines, the symbol of e-freedom. Back inside Busch Stadium, we get ready for the start of the Marlins and Cardinals, and we're going to see tonight, Al, just how superstitious you are, because last night, as Mark McGwire stepped into the batter's box in what was his 200th career game at Busch Stadium, you said, well, this guy's only hit 98 home runs. It was an amazing stat. Seconds later, he hit home run number 99.
Unbelievable what Mark has done in the first 200 games here at Busch Stadium. The numbers are 304 average, 99 home runs, 209 runs scored, the same 209 RBIs, and a whopping slugging percentage of .792.
That is our Hyundai key matchup, and tonight McGwire and that good offensive lineup takes on Vladimir Nunez. You talked about it with Dan, and we'll be quick about this. This guy's got a very good arm, and you can look at his numbers and be deceived. He's better than his numbers would indicate.
Really, he really is, and I think more of a true indication is how he's pitched against the Cardinals. First in a couple relief outings when he was with Arizona, and then a start against the Cardinals where he's 2-0. But this guy can be a handful, throws from a lot of different angles. He's got a good fastball, slider, changeup.
Here we go. Time for baseball. We'll take a break. Coming up, it's Mark McGwire and gang as he starts to gang up on Michael Jack Schmidt. He continues his assault up the ladder in the all-time home run club next. Chrysler Jeep starters. Vladimir Nunez for the Marlins, 0-3 with a huge ERA. Garrett Stephenson 6-0 with a rather large ERA. In today's Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Marlins, Luis Castillo leads it off at second base. Mark Kotsay homered last night. Cliff Floyd is in left. Preston Wilson in center. Millar is at third base. Brant Brown at first. Dave Berg the shortstop. Paul Bacco is the catcher. Nunez pitching, and there's Garrett Stephenson and his profile from an angled shot.
All right, he's got that fastball, but it's really the different angles between the fastball coming down and a good overhand curveball. Career starts 20-12. He's off to a 6-0 start now this season.
Well, let's see what he does with the Marlins. We mentioned he's 2-0 lifetime against Florida. He misses with ball 1 to Castillo. This guy is a pain in the neck when he gets on base. He leads the league with 18 steals. Takes a strike. Cincinnati won last night. They won out in Los Angeles as Castillo fouls it back. Just about 2.5 hours after I said they have a guy like Osvaldo Fernandez in their rotation, he went out and flat out shut down the Dodgers for 7+ innings. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stephenson 2-2. 87 degrees tonight out. Are you superstitious? It was 87 degrees last night.
Why would I worry about that stat? Good pitch game by our starter. 10 more runs, we win.
The 2-2. 3-2 now on Castillo.
So last thing you want to do is walk the guy that leads the major leagues in steals with 18.
That's a bad thing. 3-2. Fouled away, and this guy can do just that for 6, 7, 8 pitches or half an hour.
Well, the one thing too, Joe, is you really don't want to make them feel like they can compete with you.
That stayed up and in. Stephenson issues a leadoff walk, and that's a bad start. We take a look around the infield and outfield defense. Big Mac is at first. Fernando Vina, sore toe and all, is in the lineup for the 2nd straight night. Craig Paquette is over at third. I'm getting pumped up. Edgar Renteria is at short. Out in the outfield, it's Ray Lankford who's starting to come around. He's in left field. In center is Jim Edmonds, who's got his father in town with him now. And in right field is J.D. Drew, a fantastic dancer. Eli Marrero is catching, and Garrett Stephenson, 6-0 on the hill, just issued a leadoff walk.
I better tell you that.
From Baywatch, by the way? What was that?
I better tell you that Garrett's got his father in town. Mom and Dad are in as they're making their way, moving from Maryland to Utah.
Few people have made that move. Check on Castillo. That was awfully close, but Luis is back. We mentioned he leads the league. He's got 18 steals. And it will be a test for Eli Marrero, but you know that Eli is itching to get a chance to throw him out.
Big lead, make him dive back to get in. Some believe that if you can get back, then you can take another step or half step, expand the lead.
That's a strike on the outside corner. It's Travis Katzenmeyer behind home plate, and that's who Garrett Stephenson will throw to. Don't throw to hitters, don't throw to catchers, throw to the umpire. See what kind of a strike zone he's got. The 0-1 pitch to Kotsay, who homered in the 1st inning last night. And an angry and mean and scary look by Garrett as he looked back at Castillo over at first. Get back there. The 0-1. It's on the outside corner, extended 0-2. All 4 of the home runs Stephenson has allowed come with runners on base. You can see why his ERA is what it is. 4.96, so basically 5 a game. The 0-2. That should be the first out if it stays in play. Marrero back to give it a look, and it's 3 rows out of play. Still 0-2.
Four home runs allowed really isn't that many in 50 innings. You do, as a pitcher, you're going to give up your share of home runs, but what you'd like to do is, if you give them up, that they're the solo shots. There's a lot of Hall of Famers that give up 25, 30 plus home runs a year, but majority of them are solo.
Castillo draws another throw. Well, he flies out to his lead. Can't wait to run. Marrero can't wait to throw. Kotsay set up at 0-2. He was in this spot last night. He homered. There goes the runner. Comes back, and Eli was ready. Ball 1.
Well, Joe, I mean, it's amazing to me, because we know how good a thrower that Eli is, that he has not thrown out a base runner yet. But most of the time, he has not been given a legitimate chance. The pitcher has allowed the base runner too big a lead.
There he goes. Kotsay pops it up. Behind second base, they've got Castillo deked a bit, but he's able to get back in time. 1 on, 1 out, and a big out as Kotsay was reaching for a 1-2 pitch.
Well, Kotsay picked the right pitch to run on. It was a breaking ball. And of course, Castillo and Renteria were teammates, and so you see him pick it up. But watch what he does right now as he looks out to his, you know, not like Renteria or Vigna or something. Throws the arm out there. Snap throw, and they may have had him playing that little game. Might have had him double off at first.
Yeah, when you look at that replay, you see that he knew it was a pop-up right away.
Yeah.
So he was the one that was deking as Floyd takes a fastball strike, and he was either trying to mess with the concentration of Vigna or eventually draw a throw or whatever. But he wasn't fooled on that one bit. Cliff Floyd at the plate. 1 on, 1 out. Floyd a .252 hitter. 24 RBIs on the year. Their leading RBI man waits on deck, Preston Wilson. This is a young lineup. Floyd is the veteran of this group. As Stephenson looks at the runner again, and you could think about this Marlin team, and one thing, you can have all the good young talent you want, but you also need some veterans around to teach these guys the right way to play. And Floyd is one of the few veterans that's on this team. That's pretty close, but it trickles away from McGwire. And that's why when guys like Alex Gonzalez, who's been benched a couple of times for lackadaisical plays, not in the lineup tonight, but that's not the reason. And others might tend to loaf during a long season. You need some of those veterans to get on them and keep their concentration where it should be.
You can fool managers and coaches at times, but you can't fool your teammates.
Floyd reaching for a changeup. 0-2. How good is Stephenson's changeup?
Well, it's one of those things that I think the consistency in it, and he's getting more and more consistency with that pitch, but it just really changes the scope, the different angles. You get that little tailing action, you keep the ball in that area, you're never going to get hurt with it. Fastball, he spots well enough. What he has to do, and they're going to try and do it now, is pitch inside with it.
That is ripped foul. Boy, he's hit some balls in these last 2 nights. How about the ball he hit last night into right center field, that you could literally hear the ball thump off the wall in right center?
I never heard that. But somebody up here in the whole football press box not paying attention. Somebody got a souvenir.
You're going to eat that potato skin? What was that? Here's the 0-2. Runner goes. The chance for Marrero. Good throw. Goodbye. 2 out.
That is what we expect to see from Eli Marrero. He has as good an arm as any catcher, and of course Matheny leads the world with his 62% of throwing out. But this is an absolute rocket, a seed, perfect location, gets the major league base stealing leader easily. And Renteria just waiting for him to slide into the tag.
So 2 out, nobody on, and a 1-2 count on Cliff Floyd. What a weapon the Cardinals have behind the plate on any given night. Floyd is gone, and that good Stephenson curveball, and Mr. 6-0 heads off the field. He got help from his catcher Marrero. 1/2 inning, no score. Eli Marrero kicked back, shin guards on, chewing gum. Why not? He just showed off the arm as he got Castillo, the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Cardinals. Same look as last night, with the only difference being Marrero in the number 8 spot. Whoa. Vina, Renteria, Edmonds, McGwire, Lankford, Paquette, Drew, Marrero, and Stephenson. Here's Vladimir Nunez, who has that good fastball, and everything works off that pitch.
Yeah, goes up there with the other pitchers are getting better for him and everything, and he's 3-1 lifetime with an ERA of 0.82 against the Cardinals.
He's had success, whether it's been with Florida or with Arizona. Vina will lead it off. Last night was robbed of a hit by the shortstop Gonzalez. Tonight Gonzalez isn't out there. Dave Berg is. And 1 pitch, 1 out as Preston Wilson waits and takes it. Vina's gone. We go around the horn on the infield. Brant Brown. He is at first base tonight as they give Derek Lee the night off. Luis Castillo, we've already talked about him. He's at second. At third base, Kevin Millar there for the 2nd straight night, filling in for the injured Mike Lowell. At short, Dave Berg. No Alex Gonzalez out in the outfield. They have Cliff Floyd in left. In center, it's Preston Wilson, who had 1 misplay in last night's game. And Renteria pops it up. 2 pitches. 2 out as Millar puts it away.
Let's get a lead and then do that.
Okay. So 2 out, nobody on, and Edmonds will take the first pitch.
Well, you'd like to think they'd make Nunez work a little bit.
So far he's thrown 2 pitches outside of warming up. And he has 2 outs here in the first inning. Stephenson had to work a little harder, but still faced only 3 in the first. Edmonds homered last night. He's hit 14 on the year.
The thing about Nunez, he'll drop his arm angle, trying to deceive different hitters.
On the corner, I've read where he's been politicking the Marlins into letting him throw sidearm on a more consistent basis. Edmonds flies 1 into right center field. That'll hang up for Preston Wilson. And the Cards go in order in the first. 3 fly balls and a quick and easy first inning for Vladimir Nunez. Into the second, no score. Kids, on Saturday, June 24th, the Cards play the Dodgers. It's McDonald's Shell Coin Day at the ballpark. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a collector's coin featuring Cardinals second baseman Fernando Vina. Compliments of Shell and McDonald's. It's a 12:15 start. It's a game of the week. Cardinals and Dodgers, good game and a great giveaway. Leading it off is Preston Wilson. Fernando Vina will be on that coin. Fastball, ball 1 to Wilson, who is standing in, hitting .259. Strikeouts are piling up for Preston as he takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. This guy can hit it a mile. But he has struck out 66 times, 14 times more than the next closest to him in the National League, who happens to be Jim Edmonds. That's into right field in trouble. Drew trying to cut it off, but it skips by him, and that's a double. Preston Wilson coasts into second, a leadoff double. He just stuck the bat out, poked it down the right field line. A good start to the second for the Marlins.
You mentioned it, Joe, that when he makes contact, he hits for a lofty average, but with all those strikeouts and the ball up out over the plate, so he went out and got it and then hits it, slicing it down into the right field corner. Because J.D. Drew, he doesn't misplay it. It just kind of caroms off the base there, the cement. But J.D.'s probably a little distracted and going to be watching the scoreboard. His younger brother Tim is making his major league debut tonight for the Cleveland Indians.
Runner at second, and there's a base hit into right. Drew will play it on a bounce, and they'll hold Wilson at third. It's first and third, nobody out. Here come the Marlins. Well, is it coincidence, or is that the book on Stephenson? Two right-handed batters just poking it the other way.
Well, Joe, I think when you find that Stephenson pitches well, he pitches inside. But he has a tendency, and it's something you have to constantly to remind him to pitch ahead in the count and also to use both sides of the plate. He must control the count, not the hitter.
First and third, nobody out. Brant Brown could put Florida on top. Takes a strike from Stephenson. Brown is hitting .213. Last year was with the Pirates. Traded for Bruce Avon. Avon's with Pittsburgh. Brown is with these Marlins. If anybody needed an extra outfielder, or an outfielder first baseman type, this guy probably could be had. That's another strike. It's 0-2. Not bad when he was with the Cubs. Remembered by some for that drop fly ball in Milwaukee toward the tail end of the year 2 seasons ago. And now remembered by more because I just brought it up. The 0-2 pitch. That's on the inside corner, and a big strikeout for Stephenson. And he did go back inside. Second strikeout for Garrett. And we'll tell you that on this Schnucks date in Cardinal history, May 24, 1988, Vince Coleman had a career-high 5 hits and a 3-2 11-inning Cardinal win over Cincinnati. So now first and third, 1 out. Here's Dave Berg. And you could get out of this with a well-placed ground ball.
And that's what you've got to think about. That is also something that Garrett, with that big curve ball, he can induce quite readily.
The step to third, look to first, which has worked at least twice this season.
And I remember twice.
Heck, it worked on opening day.
Eric Young.
Pitches up for ball 1.
With Sammy Sosa standing at home plate.
Down by 5 or 6.
5 or 6 or something like runners at first and third.
Berg is driven in 2, hitting .269. Gets the start tonight. And the breaking ball misses. 2-0. On deck is Baco, the number 8 hitter and catcher. But even with a count 2-0, you would figure Stephenson would go right after Berg.
I would.
Garrett brings it, and it's 3-0. So you just came up with a big strikeout to get Brown looking on 3 great pitches. But the next 3 have been out of the zone, and it's more trouble for Stephenson. Does he give in or what? On a 3-0 pitch, it's right down the middle, 3-1. Nice sized crowd here tonight. Last night 37,000. About the same, maybe a little less here tonight. They're watching a 3-1 pitch to Berg. Strike 2 from 3-0 to 3-2. Stephenson not a big strikeout type pitcher, but he got Floyd to end the first. He just struck out Brown looking, and he's 3-2 with runners at first and third, 1 out on Dave Berg. Might be. Renneria flips and drops. Could have been an inning-ending double play. Vina dropped it. A run scores. That's Wilson. It's 1-0 Marlins here in the second.
It's E4. Fernando's first error of the year, and he got a little bit too quick. got those great quickness in the hands, but he tried to throw it before he had it. And it's an RBI for Berg, his 3rd of the year.
We've talked time and time again about how great those hands are, how quick he is. And as we look at Fox in sync, you see Wilson coming on the crack of the bat. And then it was just up to Vina if he could turn it. Stevenson would have been out of the inning, but as it is, it's a run home, 2 on, 1 out. It's Paul Bacco at the plate. See if Stevenson can limit it to 1. Bacco is a little late on that high fastball.
Bacco had a 6-game hitting streak stop last night. Oh, he's been swinging the bat pretty well. He was 0 for 4 last night. He hit .348 during that hitting streak.
Millar at second, Berg at first. The 0-1 to Bacco. Breaking ball stays high, 1-1.
That's sort of the pitch that, talking with Dave Duncan one time, I said I really like the curveball better than the slider. He goes, you know, I stopped teaching the curveball. And I said, and he said, you know why, don't you? And I said, no. He goes, because you can't get a called strike with it. They don't call that higher pitch.
That's into center field, and Edmonds comes on to put it away. 2 out, and throw to second. Just back in time is Millar. Millar almost fell asleep on the bases. As it is, 2 on, 2 out now.
You see him go out there, and he's halfway, but you know he forgets about Edmonds going to catch that ball, and the snap throw back into Vina. They almost had him. That would have looked pretty dumb.
So now 2 on, 2 out, and you've got the pitcher Nunez up, who has 2 hits, one of which is a home run this season. So,
yeah, so don't groove it.
Yeah, anybody who can put the bat on the ball and has enough to get it out of a major league stadium and end-run field is a threat. 2 on, 2 out, and a pretty good swing. Strike 1.
That's like I tease Ted Savage. So he played for 8 major league teams in the Cubs.
That's right. We've got the affiliates day tomorrow.
Yeah, I forget it.
You got the Cubs shtick going?
No.
Strike 2 on Paquette.
We're playing the Marlins. We're playing the Fish.
The Cubs are easy pickings these days, by the way. The Cubs losing last night. And they check into today's action. 10 games out.
And they were very happy yesterday because they were out of last place, but promptly put themselves back into it.
2 on, 2 out, no balls, 2 strikes on Nunez. Can Stephenson end the inning here? He'll take at least one more pitch, 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. There's the curveball, and there's the end of the inning. So all things considered, Stephenson did a heck of a job. A double, a single started the inning. An error mixed in, and the Marlins get only 1. The Marlins scored first last night. They score first tonight. They lead 1-0 into the bottom of the second. Are you looking to put your sports knowledge to the test? Then be sure to tune in to Sports Geniuses, the new nightly game show that'll challenge the most knowledgeable of sports fans. Tonight, track and field great Carl Lewis stops by the set to help deliver some questions. Sports Geniuses tonight at 11 on Fox Sports Net. Won't be doing any singing on the set. Carl Lewis, who one time in his life sang the Star Spangled Banner at the Forum before a Laker game. McGwire leads it off. Lankford, Paquette will follow. And a pop-up. That's foul, and it'll get out of play. Everybody's hacking at the first pitch. Our Casino Queen leaderboard. Home runs, major league leaders. Look at the Cardinals way out in front of Toronto. The Cubs are number 2 in the National League. National League average is 58, and the Cardinals are at 92. How about them apples?
Mark McGwire leads the major leagues with 19, but he's got a lot of support this year.
We talked about the Cardinals 92, and I'm sure you and Dan talked about it in Philadelphia. They bring up the rear with 35. That's to the left side. Diving stop by Millar. His throw is perfect. 1 out. So the first 4 have been retired in order. And Nunez will work to Ray Lankford. We want to wish the best of luck and a quick recovery to Tom McDonald, 18-year-old in Waynesville, Missouri. His youth pastor at the Community of Faith sent us that note. So we're thinking about you, Tom, and get well soon. We'll see you here at the ballpark. And we missed somebody's birthday yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Here's Lankford. Let's see what he can do. He homered last night. And he's been getting much better looks at pitches. Takes ball 1. Miss Frances Himes, resident of Bluemeyer Elderly, will be 105 years old, or years young. And she is. She turned 105 yesterday. And one of her favorite activities is watching Cardinal baseball. It says here it puts her to sleep soundly every night. The 1-1 pitch to Ray Lankford is looped into left. Another hit for Ray, and the first hit of the night for the Cardinals. Boy, his swing is much better the last 4 games.
Well, it's a controlled swing, and it starts with seeing the ball in the strike zone. So go down and get it, watching it point of contact, but not over swinging, not swinging through pitches. That's nice to see. Yeah, 6 hits in the last 9 at bats.
He checked in with a .218 average, so he's up over .220. He was under 200 for a while. Here's a guy who was down in the low 200s and now is at .286 as his at bats pile up. So he is turning in a solid season. Paquette has hit 4 home runs and driven in 22. Tying run is on for the Cardinals here in the second.
I'm going to try and start telling you about some of the appearances that players are making. Craig's got one at Don Marquis Gallery at Union Station Saturday.
That's into right for Kotze. 2 out.
Darryl Kyle has a program where he's hosting a group of 25 kids from the Delta Gamma Center for the blind and visually impaired.
They were here on the field before tonight's game.
That's right. Once a homestand, Darryl provides the opportunity for kids to watch batting practice from the field, meet him, enjoy a good dinner, and take in an exciting ball game.
Well, it was neat to watch him with that crowd of kids, some of them visually challenged, and boy, did they get a kick out of being down on the field and talking to Darryl Kyle, last night's starter in winter. And it's really enjoyable to see these major league athletes and how they interact with kids, and when they give their time, as Darryl has and so many others do. You can see that genuine smile on their faces. Lankford takes off. Throw by Baco is high and got it.
Oh, man.
Everybody in the ballpark groans with that call. Justin Clem, the second base umpire. I think he's the only one in the park that thought Lankford was out. We'll show that play when we come back. When we come back, it'll be the third. The Marlins will bat. They're up by 1. Ray Lankford complained about that call at second. The crowd groaned. Tony La Russa came out between innings, and Justin Clem, you've done yourself proud. Lankford was oot.
To the naked eye, I think we all saw it the same way, but the replay showed that the young umpire got the play correct, and that's all we try to emphasize, is get the play right, and he did so.
So Justin, nice work. Castillo fouls it away. Strike 1 in the 3rd inning. Top of the order for the Marlins, who have had 4 base runners. Last inning had a double, a single, an error, and got 1 run. 0-2 on Castillo.
Garrett Stephenson is saying, why am I out here pitching this frequently? He's used to sitting in a dugout 15 minutes or longer every half inning.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the tape, as Castillo's gone, another good pitch from Stephenson, and again it was inside. The scouting report, or at least the approach on the part of the Cardinals offensively, has been to swing at the first pitch they see from Nunez, because everybody has done that. And I think that's more than coincidence. I think that's their plan going into tonight's game.
Well, whatever they're swinging at is they shouldn't be. That's right. A lot of pop-ups.
Here's a pop into right center field. That won't be caught. Off the bat of Kotsay, up against, and that's a 1-out double. Second double of the night for the Marlins. First hit for Kotsay, and he's out there with one away for Floyd and Wilson.
This is when Garrett's going to really have to pitch. Ball out over the middle of the plate. Edmonds raising the arm, and that's sort of trying to say to a base runner that you're casually, you're gliding underneath it, you're going to make the catch. I think Kotsay, young player, aggressive player, that he was running, put his head down and ran.
So now a runner at second, 1 out for Floyd. He struck out his first time after Castillo was thrown out trying to steal. Strike one.
They get ahead curveball there.
The 0-1. Fastball for a strike, so a curveball, a fastball. It's 0-2.
Struck him out on a curveball the first time up.
I think it's worth repeating something you said earlier. Stephenson doesn't have a dominant fastball, 92, 93, 94, but because it's so much faster and harder than anything else he flips up there, it looks a lot harder than it is, as Floyd is jammed. Boy, those were 3 very good pitches from Stephenson. He just made a good hitter look bad as Floyd fouls out to the catcher. Our Bud Light, what's on tap? A great taste that won't fill you up but never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. Over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Fox Sports Net on Friday, Saturday, Sunday on WB11. Cardinals and Mets should be a good series. And then Tuesday at Arizona. That'll be on WB11. And there's Marrero back to catch the pop-up. The work on that out, Al, was done with those 3 pitches by Stephenson.
Well, if you think of breaking ball, then fastball, belt tie, and pickoff attempts.
Thrown into center field. Edmonds wings it into third late. It's a runner at third, 2 out. And it's an error on Stephenson. The Cardinals, by the way, have won only 1 game this season in which they've committed an error. That was the 19-4 win at Pittsburgh.
Pena had no chance on that ball as he whirled and threw right behind the runner. There's Edmonds' throw. So Garrett now has made it a little more difficult, but get Wilson, who doubled the first time up and scored. I was going to go back, Joe. You know what he did too? So he threw a curveball, and we were talking about the at bat to Floyd. A curveball for strike 1. Belt tie fastball, inner half, strike 2. Then he went up the ladder with the fastball, jamming him even better. But you know, so you can make your fastball more than 1 pitch by changing locations.
Breaking ball, forgets to break, and it's 2-0. See if Preston Wilson can add to the Marlin lead. Field outfield, deep straight away, 2-0. 2-1. Last night's starter getting a little extra stretch in on that foul ball over the railing in front of the Marlins dugout.
I think we caught a break because Dempster is their #1, but we didn't see him at his best.
We'll go get the Reds and Nagel on Sunday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He'll be ready for them, seeking revenge.
2-1 to Wilson. Get out of there, Preston. 3-1.
Again, try to go inside. Marrero really dramatically set up inside, and as a pitcher, if you miss inside off the plate where you don't get hurt.
That's on the corner, 3-2, and Stephenson has made some good pitches here at the start. Wilson talks to the home plate umpire and says, look, Travis, Strikeouts are mounting. These guys don't need any help. He struck out 66 times. He doubled his first time. And he walks here. First and third, 2 out.
Joe, you know, I thought about, you know, as we see all the controversy with the baseballs and stuff like this, the philosophy of hitting today, as the rain's starting to come down, the philosophy of hitting today also is conducive to hitting more fastballs. Because when guys got 2 strikes, they no longer try to sacrifice their swing to put the ball in play. They still all or nothing swings, still trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Another high breaking ball from Stephenson to Kevin Millar. It's supposed to rain off and on throughout the evening, and it's on.
Dave Duncan going to come out and talk to Garrett here.
How long will that last? A napkin on top of your head.
Doesn't even last long when indoors.
It's really a pleasant night here at the ballpark. I don't know the relative. I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. I almost said the relative humidity. What the heck am I talking about?
You probably know as much as the meteorologist.
Whoa, don't do it. I did that once, and you've never read a nasty letter unless you've read one from a scorned meteorologist. I got one of the nastiest letters.
And I'm going to try and get one.
Here's a pitch up and in. Well, whoever sent that to me, send it to Al. Put his name in it.
Yeah, they probably weren't even brave enough to put a name, huh?
Of course not.
In crayon?
It was a poem. It was a poem that had me in it. The relative humidity tonight, 47%. 83 degrees here at the ballpark as ball 3 missed up and away to Millar, and more trouble for Stephenson after a visit from Duncan. First and third, 2 out. 3 balls, no strikes. That'll load him up for Brant Brown. Brown struck out his first time, but a dangerous left-handed hitter, and Tony La Russa isn't too thrilled with what he sees. In fact, now the last time out, when Stephenson had the lead in Philadelphia, what he was most proud of, she's already up to 54 pitches. He got the lead and he didn't walk anybody the entire night. And all he said after the game was no walks, no walks. I didn't walk anybody. So he was aware of that as he makes a good pitch to Brown, and he's walked back-to-back hitters here in the 3rd inning to load the bases.
Well, if you remember, then in that series, remember Andy Bennett said that game where he gave up 10 hits, but he didn't walk anybody, and you know, was the victor.
Not only 10 hits, but 10 hits to the first 4 batters.
First 4 batters, they were like 10 for 16.
The bottom of the order was hitless.
And the bottom of the order was 0 for 18 while Andy was there, and I think 0 for 20 overall for the day.
A 1-1 to Brant Brown is popped foul down the left field line. A slicing shot, strike 2. So Stephenson could get out of this jam with a good pitch here. He struck out Brown looking his first time. If the Cardinals were on the other end, we'd be moaning and groaning about missed opportunities, but this opportunity isn't missed yet. Brown has 1 left. Bases loaded, 2 out, and he wouldn't chase it. 2-2.
Excellent job by Marrero blocking that ball, breaking ball in the dirt. You're at the major league level, you have to throw your breaking ball in the dirt at times with runners at third base. Cardinal pitchers know they can do it all the time, and no one will come in to score.
The 2-2 pitch to Brown is fouled away. A lot of scores to report. Houston has a 5-0 3rd inning lead at home over the hapless Phils with Schilling on the mound, so he's not right. He is going through a dead arm phase. This outing he had the last time out against the Cardinals. 2-2 pitch. Just inside. Stephenson started to head off the mound, and now he's back with a 3-2 count.
Well, this was a strike to other hitters, or it sure would look like it. Garrett felt that way, and I'm sure Tony the same.
Here's a fly ball into center. Doesn't matter. Off the bat of Brant Brown. Into the glove of Jim Edmonds, and another missed opportunity for the Marlins. They had 3 base runners last inning, got only 1. They leave the bases loaded here in the 3rd inning. They've stranded 5. Still 1-0 Florida. Well, it could be worse. It's a 1-0 Florida lead into the bottom of the 3rd inning as Stephenson has been able to limit the damage. Coming up next is the all-new National Sports Report, the nightly show that gives you a complete wrap-up of all the day's sports news. Rangers and Royals. Jalen Rose, the most improved player, voted that in the NBA. A.J. Foyt, open mic. No idea what that means. We'll find out after the game on the National Sports Report. J.D. Drew now with baby brother already out of the game for the Indians.
Yeah, J.D.'s younger brother Tim made his major league debut. They've got him off the hook as the Cleveland Indians have come back, and it's now a 6-5 game early in Detroit. Tim was the #1 draft pick of the Cleveland Indians back in '97. He's 21 years of age, and they have some pitching problems there in Cleveland right now.
A 1-1. Loading strike zone to this point. Strike 2 on the outside corner. Well, they put Ricardo Rincon, their best setup man, a lefty, on the DL. They've had Bartolo Colon on the DL. He's back. He got hit hard last night. Jarrett Wright, hard-throwing right-handers on the disabled list, and Charlie Nagy's on the DL.
And they may be putting Shuey.
Well, it's a good time for them to roll into town, and they'll do that next weekend.
That's right.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Drew, although they should have Jarrett Wright back by them. In front. That's why those screens are in front of the Cardinal dugout. That fence area.
See Brad Henderson right there. Now you see Jim Edmonds sitting next to Eric Davis.
That is smoked foul. How about that? Hello, upper deck. How good did that sound?
Sounded real good. Nunez also liked it too because it's a strike.
Saw Eric Davis in that last shot. We'll talk more about him in a moment. That's another foul. As Drew's getting his hacks up there. So he has made Nunez work. Nunez really hasn't had to work for the first 6 outs very long.
And it's made a lot of good off-speed pitches here, and I'm looking for one right now to J.D. Another fastball.
3 balls, 2 strikes. That's down into the right field corner, and it's fair. What a good at bat by Drew. A ground rule double. And the Cardinals have the tying run at second with nobody out here in the 3rd inning. How about that at bat by J.D. Drew, Al? One of the better we've seen all year.
Really have, and they kept on throwing a lot of different pitches. There's an off-speed pitch, but he left it out over the middle of the plate. He kept on pulling the balls. This one he pulls into fair territory and bounces over for the ground rule double.
Eric Davis on Friday night, 2 days from now. He will be honored here before the game, and it's Score for Screening 2000 Day here at the ballpark. Eric Davis and other cancer survivors, colon cancer survivors, will be honored before the game. As Marrero grounds to the right side. Nice pickup by Castillo. Wide throw, but out. Over to third is Drew. And don't forget that early detection is the key for colon cancer, one of the most treatable forms of cancer. Runner at third, 1 out, and Stephenson hitless on the year, steps to the plate, stepping into the broadcast booth. It's one of our old friends, Hale Irwin. Hale, nice to see you.
It's good to be here. You know, maybe we got a little something going here. Step in, good. Drew a double down the line, and a little piece of good batting there, moving over to third base. And now I need to talk to Al about his
you're mad at
prediction.
him.
Oh, this
I'm
is
hot at him.
I remember.
I'm hot at him.
Oh, come on now. As a former football player, you know, I have the mentality. I had it down to a science how to hit a runner the split second he relaxed after the whistle.
So let's revisit that as Stephenson bats with a runner at third, one out. Faking a go was Drew down the third baseline. There's a chance for a squeeze play here. Last night, prediction was made here on Fox Sports Net by Al Raboski that who's going to win the Boone Valley Classic? Larry Ziegler.
And he said it with no hesitation.
No hesitation.
So he must have the crystal ball.
The defending champion is worried.
I am. I tell you, you got me thinking about it now. So let's give Larry his due. He is certainly qualified and can do it.
Well, I mean, I would be very reassured if I'm making that prediction that you're in good shape.
Yeah, right. That's a good sign, Hale.
But you make your home here, and of course Larry is from St. Louis, and what a great character, and you got to enjoy having him on the tour.
Oh, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of great guys, a lot of good stories out there in the senior tour, and many of them have not been told. And we have a whole field full of good stories, and you know, just a few of them surfaced, and by the time we're through with the senior tour someday, all these guys will be stars.
Marlins looking for a pitch for a squeeze play. They pitch out 2 balls and a strike, and now the chances increase a little bit for a squeeze play as Nunez is behind on the count, 2 balls and a strike. You know, Hale has been my partner the last 2 years at the celebrity shootout of the celebrity challenge, with a bad bat.
But I've got to be honest. See, that's why I didn't pick him, because you weren't giving him all the tips. You haven't primed him up there and get him ready to read those putts for him.
Stevenson gets a great hack at it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Stevenson hitless on the year, trying to tie this game with a hit. The Boone Valley Classic is this weekend out in Boone Valley at Augusta, Missouri. And the number 534-1111 for tickets, and you all have a great field coming out for this event.
Well, we do. We're going to have some really good players out, and I would encourage the people that want to see some great golf, and don't think of it just as senior golf, but some great golf. There's some really good play being played by a lot of the players right now.
The 2-2 pitch is fouled away as Stevenson spoiled a good pitch. Now they've named the lake on 18. This is our good friend, your good friend, Doug Albrecht. I have to highlight that because he named, I think he was behind us,
the dubious naming of the lake.
The Hale Irwin Lake.
Well, it's now called officially Lake Irwin. I made the mistake of a couple years ago putting a golf ball into that lake in the playoff with Gibby Gilbert, and he won the tournament. The following year, I put another ball in there, and I made the comment, well, offhanded comment, they ought to name this Lake Irwin for any balls as I put in there. Well, Doug so obliged, and so and I have the dubious distinction of having a water feature named after me.
Runner at third, a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
Of course, you wouldn't know anything about those water features, and I know Al does.
And that's another thing. When I was out there and I was his partner, Hale, get on me. I hit a bad shot. I hit a shot that I liked. Hale, get on me. And a couple times I'd say, Hale, this isn't what I do for a living.
Those were cue cards from Jack.
Right. Well, that might be true.
He gave me the history of you, so those were just impromptu. Look at that.
How about that?
Walk. He's scared of the pitcher. Now we got him.
How about, you know what? 2 things there, Al, and then we'll get back to talking about golf. Drew faked a couple of goes down the third baseline. It looked like it bothered Nunez, and Stevenson spoiled a couple of good pitches and worked a walk out of it.
Yeah, and remember, he is hitless this year, 0 for 17. So like Darryl Kyle, who came up at a key point in last night's ball game and kind of gave the biggest and key hit. It was a 2-run game against their ace, and he made it a 4-run lead with a single and 2-run score.
So to finish the earlier story, I've been thinking ever since that day out on the course that if I ever got Hale in this situation where he was sitting in a spot where he could conceivably do what I do for a living, maybe he could try to do play-by-play like I try to play golf.
I thought he's already been doing a pretty good job of it.
0-1 the count on Venia. Let's see if Hale Irwin can bring home a run. Well, you know what we've seen here is a good piece of hitting by the pitcher, and I'll turn to Al. Al, as a former pitcher, you can make or break your own ball game with a good piece of batting. And here we've got they turned the double, but they won't. All right, here we go. 1-1. see, you need a new voice here in the booth.
There you go. The Cardinals have tied it as the Marlins couldn't turn the double play thanks to the good speed of Pena. It's a 1-1 game. I'll say this. You did a lot better than I did around the greens or getting to the greens at Boone. Nice work.
Well, the one thing that you learn after a few years is that there are people in their business that do a wonderful job and don't go into it.
Just stay in your own thing.
Just watch and admire.
George Kissel's saying for that is don't go into somebody's house and rearrange the furniture.
True.
In sync as you watch Drew coming down the line. Down in the bottom left, you knew the run would score if the Marlins couldn't turn the double play. And I think that was handled about as well as it could have been handled by the Marlins. Just where the ball was hit with Pena's speed, they just couldn't turn two, and because of that, Pena knocks in his 13th run of the year, and it's a 1-1 game. Here's Renneria now, and he watches the throw go to first.
Hale, but people really don't realize your athletic background, and we all know that we're a tremendous golfer, but you might have been able to go to the NFL.
Well, I guess the key word there is might.
Colorado defensive back.
There were a number of telegrams back in them darn days that expressed an interest in was I interested in, and in each case I think those telegrams found the waste paper basket. When it came to the part about how big and how fast do you run the 100, the 40s, we didn't have a 40 then. That was just part of 100 yards. And I say, hey, I can't see 100 yards. I'm not going to run 100 yards. So why do you want to know?
Did you love golf as a kid?
Oh yes. Actually the sport that I enjoyed the most, and I was telling some of the guests with whom I was tonight, I watched in the old Sportsman's Park my first Cardinal baseball game many years ago. Saw Stan the Man hit a home run up on the pavilion, and the Cardinals were a part of my childhood. I lived in southeast Kansas, and of course KMOX and Harry Carey, and I suppose even Jack at the time was doing some work. So we had a real history of baseball in that part of the world. So baseball was a sport I really enjoyed, but as I got older and I turned a little more to golf, and then a football scholarship at the University of Colorado, and just sort of took its natural evolution to go in that direction.
Pena takes off as Renneria fouls it. I have to say, and I know Al, you feel the same way, we're proud when we see the highlights of one tournament after another with Hale at the top of the leaderboard, winning as you do with such regularity on the senior tour, to call him a St. Louis. He is one of the jewels here, sports-wise, for the city.
He's also one of my bosses.
In what way?
That's right.
That's
no wonder
right.
I got your chair. No wonder you jumped up.
KFNS Radio.
Well, you're an investor in that.
Oh, you bet. You bet. Great station. 1
on, 2 out. No balls, 2 strikes on Renneria. Sidearm delivery and a nice play by Baco, the catcher. So as you look at this weekend and the field, it's beefed up a little more. Watson's now on the senior tour. You're there. I'm assuming Fleischer's going to be there.
Well, unfortunately, Bruce's father just passed away, and he is down in Florida attending to that funeral. But we hope Bruce is back soon. He's been a wonderful addition to the senior tour, and unfortunately, we don't get to see him this year. But he'll be here, I'm sure, in years to come.
Yeah.
And Hale, a lot of people think of Boone Valley and think it's way out there. It's not that far. Once you go out there and you see how beautiful that terrain is, well, that's a great place to watch. You better bring your A game though.
Well, that's true. It's not an easy golf course, and we have a wonderful venue. So those of you that can come out, please do. We look forward to seeing you.
534-1111. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box. 2 million antenna balls can't be wrong, and by your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers. This is the inning. We'll bring you Aflac tribute. Dave Berg is first up. 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Marlins, and a strike. It's the outside corner from Stephenson. It's a 1-1 game, and I think the Marlins will be looking back. They don't win this game at some opportunities the last 2 innings where they didn't get that key hit.
Joe, in my basement I have an autographed picture of Ted Williams, And I was showing it to Bob Gregg one day, and he went on a half-hour dissertation saying, I think that's Mo Berg, the catcher in that picture. That's Mo Berg.
That's a fly ball into right from Dave Berg, and that's one out here in the 4th inning. Mo Berg, if you don't know who that is, and I know we've got Affleck trivia coming. Mo Berg was a lifetime backup catcher, but a scholar, knew
8 or 9 languages.
8 or 9 languages. And when the United States would take those tours through Japan and other countries, baseball all-star tours, he was put on the team. Now, he wasn't in the same class as the others that were on the tour with him. He was a career backup catcher, but the reason why he went on those tours was to serve as somebody to gather intelligence about Japan before the war. Here's a line drive back and out of play, 0-2.
His facial characteristics apparently were so bland that he could blend in with any crowd, and he'd put on a kimono and go take pictures of Tokyo Bay and actually the pictures that they used for the bombing raid.
No balls, 2 strikes.
He was almost, you know, had an assassination. He was sent one time an assassination attempt in Europe, and his gun misfired or something like that happened, and he goes, what am I doing here?
Baco's jam. Stephenson continues to make good pitches. Marrero gets rid of the mask. 2 down. Today's Cardinal Trivia is brought to you by Affleck. We'll give you a clue. Stan Musial is the Cards' all-time leader in RBI, 1,951. Who is second? There's a clue in that picture.
Oh, I got it. I figured it out.
Okay. That's hard hit, but McGwire stabs it. Nunez is gone, and for the first time tonight, the Marlins go in order. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Heart of the order coming up, tied at 1. Our Affleck trivia question. Stan Musial, the Cards' all-time leader in RBI, 1,951. Who is second? Our Affleck trivia answer, Enos Slaughter, 1,148 RBIs for the Cardinals. Cardinals retired his number last year. Forever and ever now, the number 9 belongs to Enos Country Slaughter.
Joe, they dedicated one of those statues to Enos last year, and Izzy Dean's statue dedication at 5 p.m. at Gate 6. Fans may acquire a limited edition replica of the other 5 statues by calling Tim Hanser at the Cardinals Care, 314-421-3060.
I have Tim's home number. Should I give that out?
Sure, I think so. He might tell you the price tag's $5,000.
Jim Edmonds will stand in and lead it off. Edmonds, McGwire, and Lankford, heart of the order. 3-4-5 against Vladimir Nunez. And Nunez is indeed doing what we cautioned fans against when we came on the air, that don't be deceived by an 0-3 record and an ERA over 7. He's got good stuff as Edmonds lines one up the middle, and that's a good start. A base hit for Edmonds, and that's the 3rd of the night for the Cardinals. Edmonds adds to his .370 average.
Marlins' last 3 games have allowed 10 runs or more to their opponent. And obviously this is much more of a pitcher's duel, 1-1 game. All out over the plate. Didn't try to do too much with it. Continue that good hitting of hitting the ball where it's pitched.
And now Mark McGwire. Big Mac stands in. He bounced out to 3rd his first time up. He's looking for home run number 20. His average at .327. 1. We talked about this earlier. Key matchup is McGwire matching up against anybody here at home. 200 games, 99 home runs, 209 driven in. Sidearm delivery, 1 ball, 1 strike. That didn't seem to bother McGwire much. But he came up empty.
And I think when you've hit 541 home runs, you've seen a lot of different angles and release points. If you make a good pitch, you got a chance to get him out. If you make a mistake, he's got a better than 50-50 chance to leave the park.
inside part. Strike 2. 7 away from tying Mike Schmidt. 541 career home runs, and Nunez trying to keep his name off the list.
They want the fastball away. Looks like another fastball in. Nope. Slider.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Hot hitting. It's nice to say that before the name Ray Lankford. Hot hitting Ray Lankford waits to bat next.
Oh, there's a young man 6 years old that would love to see McGwire do something special. Logan Spain celebrating his 6th birthday tonight.
How about a 2-2 pitch? Instead, Nunez steps off.
Logan's here with his dad, brother, sister, and other family members are back in DuQuoin, Illinois, watching the game. They're going to tell all about this home run that Logan's birthday present.
A 2-2 pitch. Full count. A 1-1 game in the 4th inning. A leadoff hit by Edmonds. McGwire now. Langford next. Paquette after Ray. Cardinals have won 3 in a row. Coming off a 4-2 road trip through Pennsylvania. Starting in Philadelphia, ending in Pittsburgh. The Cardinals won last night 10-3. A 3-2 instead. A check on Edmonds. By the way, Jim has stolen 4, been caught only once.
Grandma Sue going to make Mark get a pitch. Anna, Logan's mom's here with brother Brandon.
Runner goes on ball 4. A hit, a walk. That's why you don't throw the ball, by the way, on ball 4, as it almost sailed into center field. A single, a walk, 2 on, nobody out.
That's really not in. I wouldn't think it'd be interference if a catcher goes ahead and throws a ball on ball 4, and then as the batter's going to first base, he has a little mild collision with the catcher. Ball 4 kind of stopped the play, but the error would have counted.
It's an interesting replay with McGwire walking down to first, and you can see it had a direct influence on the throw by Baco. He had no chance of following through as he made that throw because of the big body of McGwire walking down to first. Now it's 2 on, nobody out for Lankford, who singled, was out stealing his first time up, his average at 224. And a backdoor breaking ball upsets Ray. Strike 1.
It's something you can't allow to happen. You know, you think of in terms you're a good enough hitter that even if you disagree with one call, don't let it affect your ultimate at bat.
0-1 the count, 2 on, nobody out. Strike 2. So Lankford set up. We talk about the strikeouts. Preston Wilson. We talked about the strikeouts for Jim Edmonds. Lankford is 4th on the list with 48. The 0-2. Oh, called him out on a pitch inside, and that's 1 out. Lankford stands there in disbelief talking to Travis Katzenmeyer about strike 3. 2 on, 1 out. Let's go back through the at-bat and look at some of these pitches to Ray Lankford.
Set up away, and that ball's definitely outside.
That was called a strike.
Okay, now comes in, he throws a fastball by Ray. Strike 3. That's pretty close, but usually you can't get both sides of the plate.
Now 2 on, 1 out for Paquette. Strike 1. That sequence, it looked like, well, you're always going to have a bigger argument on strike 3. Strike 1 was the pitch that was.
Well, and that's not saying that Ray did allow that first one to affect him, but He clearly, in his mind, thought that the third one was inside.
Hawkhead, a base hit into left field. Edmonds will have to hold. And the bases are loaded for J.D. Drew. That hit was like a bullet into left field. Edmonds could only go second to third, and now it's up to Drew.
A ball out over the middle of the plate, and he hit it hard. Look at the ball. Almost got by Floyd there, but he makes the play. And look at there, the ball up, hanging out over the plate for him. Real nice compact swing, and jumped all over.
What a player to have sitting around when you need him. Not doing any more sitting. From the second that Tatis went down, he has been planted at third base.
You know, Tony La Russa said that you're not my regular, but you are in essence, because you're going to play so much at so many different positions. Of course, that was then when they got Edmonds, that kind of changed a little bit. But as you said, you really can't replace a Tatis, but this is the next best thing.
Yeah, you'd come close. Bases loaded with one out for Drew, who had a great at bat his first time up, and very good swings against Nunez, and eventually doubled into the right field corner and later scored on a force out hit into by Vina. One grand slam on his resume. And now he's up on the count 2-0. You got to look for something to drill here.
You got a cycle as a batter with the bases loaded, 4 for 10, single, double, triple, grand slam.
Start it over, but do it in reverse.
Okay.
Start with a home run and work your way back down.
I'll go along with that.
Take that. Bases loaded, one away. On deck, the number 8 hitter Marrero. And that might end the inning. A 2-0 pitch is a 6-4-3 inning ending, rally killing double play. We played 4. Now each side has missed great scoring chances. Cardinals and Marlins are tied at 1. Tony La Russa was our guest tonight on Cardinals Tonight, and then later in our pregame festivities here on Fox Sports Net. Guests on Cardinal Baseball receive a gift certificate to Chevy's Fresh Mex. Stop by one of the 7 locations where the food's made fresh every day. So we thank Tony for his time. It'll be the top of the order for the Marlins now in the 5th. Each side has missed some chances.
Sure, with a 1-1 game and just having bases loaded, inning-ending double play, his stomach is primed and ready for Chevy's.
Yeah. Chevy's, that food wouldn't know what hit it when it got down into that stomach. Castillo leads it off and takes a ball. J.D. Drew tonight has doubled and scored, but he's also bounced into a double play that I'm sure he's thinking about out in right. And if he's not thinking about that, he's probably thinking about his younger brother Tim, who didn't fare well in his major league debut in his first start for the Indians. Relieved in the second, but as Al mentioned, the silver lining is the Indians have overcome the deficit he put them in. And they lead 6-5.
Yeah, he might think that he's still in there.
Breaking balls in for a strike. And it's 1-2 on Castillo, who's walked, been out stealing, and struck out. We're in the 5th, a 1-1 game. 2-2. Steve Paris will take on Chan Ho Park tonight in Los Angeles. Cardinals start the game a game and a half up on the Reds in the division. Fred Astaire would have been a good slap hitter.
And once his feet are really active.
And there's a slapped hit into center. A leadoff single for Castillo to add to his .330 average.
That's what they look like on a single. There is a difference.
At least in the direction they're pointed.
Right.
And now those feet will take a lead over at first. That's the go-ahead run for the number 2 hitter Kotze. Castillo has been caught once tonight. He is not uncatchable by any stretch. It's from the stretch. Stephenson gives him a look.
He's been caught 7 times now to go along with his 18 steals. And Joe, don't kid yourself. All the step-offs, all that throw-overs, all those little things take a little spring and life out of the base stealer's legs.
He's going. Chance for Marrero. They got him again. 1 out, nobody on as Castillo's caught for the 2nd time tonight.
He's acting like he's hurt out there. Now they're signaling to the Marlins bench. Marrero came into this game where he had not thrown out a base runner, but clubs still respect his great arm, and rightfully so, and not too many will run again. If a pitcher gives him the opportunity, and earlier they hadn't, he has a good throw, and there's a little bit of a high road, but he got him right on top of the head. So here you get the good look. Stephenson, anytime you find a guy of Stephenson's height, they're usually slow to the plate. And going feet first, so look at the ankle or knee as he slides into the bag. Might have even spiked himself.
That left leg went in pretty hard, and that's what they're looking at. Checking the knee, ripping it around in all different directions. Make sure that he's all right. He is the first out of this inning. As Marrero gets him again.
Tags him right on top of the head as Renteria. Backside there you see the left leg. Watch the left leg. It's the back leg. He jams that into the bag, and the other foot, the spikes got kind of turned into it. He might have spiked himself and jammed it. I don't want to put a lot of weight on it. Larry Starr, I believe, the Marlins head trainer. Yeah, that's Larry Starr, long time with Cincinnati. Another look at it. See that left leg? Kind of started turning instead of like laying flatter on your back going in. Started turning sideways into the bag. You know, Joe, they say a lot of the Latin players really do not like to slide head first because as they grew up playing on so many of the terrible fields, and any spot was a ball diamond, but so much broken glass and debris on some of their ball fields, they never wanted to really slide, and they didn't learn that art.
Castillo is definitely adept at the art of stealing bases. There's a fastball that's called high. It's 2-0 on Kotsay. And we'll see if he's able to continue. Certainly did not look too sure of that knee as he headed out of here as Kotsay pops it into shallow right center. Edmonds will take it in front of Drew. 2 out. You know, we talk about the front end of steals as far as the pitcher and the catcher, and Marrero had a fantastic throw, but can you imagine the athletic ability it takes to come from your position, be it second base or shortstop, on the move, get to the bag, know where the bag is, catch a throw from a catcher, and get a tag down on a runner speeding into the base? I mean, for the average person, I mean, you take that for granted that the throw's there, or they should get him out, but it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. But that was a good tag by Renteria.
And a lot of times the difference between a successful steal and a caught stealing is the tag. I mean, that wasn't the best of throws, but it got there quickly, and then Renteria completed it by putting the tag on.
Floyd, where's that pitch? 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm complaining about pitches. I'm sorry. So tiresome when I sit at home and listen to announcers complain about pitches, and I've done it. That's foul. Strike 2. How about the day for Eli Marrero? Why not highlight him? The job he's done behind the plate tonight. Look at that throw to get Castillo in the first.
the one this inning where he just nailed Castillo. And remember, he's the major league leader in stolen bases coming in here with 18. Marrero also was part of the Cardinals' lone run too.
That's a tough chance for Lankford. He just can't get to it. A double for Floyd. Lankford boots it, but it's a double either way. Floyd will hold at second, and he's there with 2 out. I'm telling you, the ball jumps off that guy's bat like none other in this Florida lineup.
Set up away, and the pitch is up and away, and he just hammers it into left field. Quickly gets over there, and they missed the exchange. Just give you an idea of how this ball just rockets off the bat over the head of Lankford. Set double all the way, and that little bobble right there didn't have any part to the scoring.
So the efforts of Marrero, the tag by Renteria, getting Castillo stealing, saves a run. And a breaking ball is a strike to Preston Wilson.
Right before that double, I was saying Marrero was involved in the scoring. Remember when J.D. Drew got the double, Marrero hit behind him, allowed him to go to third base. It wasn't out, but he did advance him, and he eventually came around to score on an infield out.
1 ball, 1 strike from Garrett Stephenson. It'll be Marrero, Stephenson, and Vina for the Cardinals in the bottom of this 5th. Paquette picks it to his left. His throw is true as always, and that'll do it for the Marlins in the 5th. 2 hits, a man out stealing, 1 left. Marlins have stranded 6, halfway through it, tied at 1. Don't forget that every Friday during home games here at Busch Stadium, you can come to the Family Pavilion for a pregame party featuring live bands, former players, live radio broadcasts, all courtesy of Busch Beer every Friday night before a home game. Busch Bash. How about the last word? How about Jim Rome? Guests discuss the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Rome will be joined by UFC contender John Lewis, UFC promoter Paul Smith, and UFC opponent Lawrence Mandelker. Tonight at 11:30 on Fox Sports Net. There's a strike. That Mandelker is a member of the New York State Commission that's trying to get the UFC banned. Ultimate Fighting Championship. Little martial arts mixed in. That's your speed. We'll talk about that tonight on the last word. 0-2 on Marrero, who certainly made his presence felt here tonight at the plate and behind the plate. 1-2. A 1-2. That's a tough chance for Millar. Nice pickup. Good throw. Too late. They all talk about Jason Kendall of the Pittsburgh Pirates as being the fastest catcher in baseball. I don't think they're right. I think the fastest catcher in baseball is him, Eli Marrero.
I agree with you. And sometimes because of his big swing, he doesn't get out of the box as quickly. But once he gets going, gets out of that box, he can dig and churn with the best of them. He has 3 stolen bases. All 3 of the stolen bases come as a pinch runner. So Tony realizes that speed and realizes that once he reaches base, he is a real weapon on the base pass.
Time for Stephenson to bunt. And he's picked off. How about that? Leaning towards second, and Marrero's gone. Almost looked out like he was leaning like he was going to steal. I don't know why they would play that game with Stephenson at the plate in a straight bunting situation, but he's out stealing.
You know, Joe, to me, what it kind of reminds me of, and he clearly was nailed, and is that trying to fight for more playing time. He's got a good game going, throwing out a couple base runners, and just trying to do a little bit too much.
So Tony goes to talk to him.
So staying inside your game, you know, you try and say, okay, I'm gonna make up for lost time.
Nunez gets it, fires it. Now 2 out, nobody on. And the Cardinals have hit into a double play, lost a man on the bases. Maybe, actually, you look back, they've lost 2 on the bases. The Marlins are stranded 6, and they've lost 2 trying to steal. Game is presented by the officer of the Commissioner of Baseball and the St. Louis Cardinals. Association with Fox Sports Net. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Little ground ball to first, into the glove of Brant Brown. Vina's gone, and we have played 5. So missed opportunities all over the place. These 2 pitchers taking advantage of them. Through 5, still tied at 1. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Steak and Shake, by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. And by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. You can count on Dobbs. A revealing look at Charlie Spoonhour.
More than you ever wanted to see.
Put some pants on.
He's acting like a broadcaster, isn't he?
He retired. Former head coach of the St. Louis University Billikens, as the breaking ball's in for a strike to Kevin Millar. I'll hear about that.
Did you see where Lon Kruger, the reports are that he's going to leave Illinois and take the Atlanta Hawks job?
We'll miss seeing him at the ballpark. He usually pays us at least 1 visit a year. Breaking ball, now a fastball, and it's 0-2.
Lon Kruger was a Cardinal farmhand.
Really?
Yep.
All those interviews I've done with him on radio.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Millar set up at 0-2. And pops up. Third base side. It looks like it'll stay in play. And I'm wrong again. Although Paquette might have been able to reach in and grab it had he gotten there. Still 0-2. Marlins bench is shouting, stay back, stay back, stay back.
Now you can go into a dugout and make that play, unless stated otherwise. That was one of the new rules at
Goodbye. Into left field, I believe, at the track, at the wall. Lankford leaps. Oh, what a catch! What a catch! The catch of the year. A breaking ball waited on by Millar, and he is flat out robbed by Ray Lankford. That might be the catch of his life.
We've seen Ray make some great catches, and I've always maintained he should have won at least 1 or 2 Gold Gloves, but
even he had to smile.
Yeah, high towering fly ball, absolutely times his jump. He's just coasting there. He got his momentum, and look at how far. It looked like from the elbow above, he goes over the wall and brings this home run back in.
Oh.
Now that is outstanding. Nice going, Ray.
Now Brown pops it up. On an 0-1 count, Brandt pops it up to the shortstop, Renneria. That is, I've seen Ray since he was at AAA Louisville. That's the best catch I've ever seen him make.
Well, Joe, and the one thing we've said, we're starting to break out offensively, but the one thing that we have said all year, he has never allowed his offensive problems to affect him in the field.
Oh, that was sensational. This crowd will go crazy when he comes back into the dugout. Won't that be nice for a guy who struggled, at times been booed here at the ballpark this year? There will be some kind of standing ovation when he comes back to the dugout.
Well, and remember that one time where he was struggling, they walked McGwire in front of him, and the people gave him a standing ovation.
Here's a chance for Edmonds to his right. The defense comes up for Garrett Stephenson. But what a catch by Ray Lankford. The fans behind the dugout already on their feet. Ray Lankford deserves every hand he's getting, and they're giving it to him now. He keeps it a 1-1 game. Ray Lankford just went down the steps. Boy, did he get a nice ovation when he headed back to the dugout. A 1-1 game, thanks in large part to this catch We'll tell you that coming up immediately after the game, it's the all-new National Sports Report, a nightly show that gives you a complete wrap-up of all the day's sports. Rangers and Royals, Jalen Rose most improved in the league, and A.J. Foyt open mic. Well, that's just, you can't see that catch enough. Go ahead. He can't stop smiling now. Why not? He's worked through a slump at the plate, and he just made a career-type catch in left. It's not a catch, as you look at him getting back to the dugout. It's not a catch that wins a World Series. It's not a catch that clinches a playoff spot, whatever. But just by the timing and by the leap and by the effort he gave, getting that at the last instant well over the wall and left, going back and timing it perfectly. It's just a regular old May 24th game, but that was some catch.
Well, it might be one that wins a ball game, though.
It's a 1-1 score, the 2-1 to Renteria. Right back up the middle. The shortstop Gonzalez. Bad throw and safe as Brown comes off the bag. And we'll see how they rule that with Edmonds and McGwire coming up.
They scored an infield base hit. Gonzalez, who was just inserted in the game when Castillo left, and moved Berg over to second. But here he makes a play, makes the off-balance throw, short hops. He had plenty of time to get him. Short hops Brown. He has already committed 10 errors on the season, Gonzalez, and allows Renteria to be safe. It wasn't hit that hard, so he got to the ball with plenty of time. And can't believe first baseman didn't pick it, but he had a little more time than he realized.
Well, in some respects, Brown made the right play to come off the bag and keep it there. It's a 1-1 game in the 6th inning. You can't sit back and hope. Throw gets away, and it's a runner at second, nobody out.
You know, and Joe, I say frequently first basemen don't make that proper decision.
You wonder what kind of a residual effect that catch by Lankford in left will have on the offense and on the rest of this night.
Tell you what it usually does.
Edmonds floats one into center. The first two are on with a big guy coming up.
That's what it usually does, is it shifts the momentum. And sometimes pitchers really have to guard against scoring opportunities that fail. They really have to guard against, you know, a mental letdown themselves. Not only their teammates, but the pitcher himself.
So the problem is compounded as now after an infield hit and a blooped hit into center, the single season home run king stands in. The infield shift, the right side of the infield wide open, the outfield is deep, so a little old base hit would give the Cardinals the lead. You look at the outfield hits by direction. That's why they shift the way they do. He is a pull hitter. However, last night he homered into right.
This is a third different shift we've seen the Marlins employ.
That's into left center field, and that's a 3-run home run. Off the billboard on the scoreboard, and the Cardinals take a 4-1 lead as Mack hits number 20, number 542. He's 6 short of Mike Schmidt. And after that great catch by Lankford in the top of the inning, the Cardinals take the lead in the bottom of the inning.
That's what usually happens, Joe, is all of a sudden you get a little letdown, breaking ball, leaves it in the middle of the plate, and he doesn't miss that one too often.
That hit eventually in the front of the bleachers. I got to believe that hit back off that scoreboard in left field. Maybe not. That ball couldn't have just gotten over the wall like that, could it?
Well, we don't think of him hitting just normal home runs.
I'll tell you what, by the way Preston Wilson reacted, the center fielder, he acted like that thing was hit 500 feet. He didn't move. And if that did just land, as Lankford pounds one into right, did they go back to back? Kotze with his back to the wall. Goodbye. For the 13th time this season, the Cardinals have gone back-to-back. They lead it 5-1.
We get Ray Lankford doing that. Look out, folks. 9th home run for Ray. And look at Mark McGwire. He couldn't be happier. The 13th time they've had the back-to-back home runs, and down and in, that's a pitch that Ray does not miss. A high towering fly ball. It's the 13th time, Joe, and the National League record is 15 by the 56 Reds.
I'd say that as the Cardinals have done it 13 times, and it's only May 24th, that record will fall.
Oh, most definitely. And a matter of fact, they've had to go back and kind of change the definition of back-to-back.
I mean, what a night. What a 5 minutes for Ray Lankford. 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it's been. And what got this thing going? This catch, which preserved a tie in the top of this 6th.
Well, it looked like this had home run written all over it. A hanging breaking ball, and Ray stays with it and then times a jump absolutely perfectly and brings that home run back into the playing field for an all-important out. The final out of the inning, and now 4 straight hits, the last 2 being home runs.
Wow. What an explosion here in the 6th inning, defensively, then offensively.
Just listen to the crowd noise. People still talking about what they've just witnessed.
We've seen a lot of things this year, and we talked about it last night, how many memorable moments we've already had this season. But this has been an inning. Been some missed opportunities in this game, but this has been an inning that I guarantee you we won't forget all season. McGwire went 385 in the left field.
Well, that did just get over the wall.
I mean, it's unbelievable. The way Preston Wilson, the center fielder, when McGwire hit that ball, just turned, never moved, and that ball landed in the front row of the bleachers or in the flower.
Well, remember the one last night that he absolutely fooled himself too.
A 2-2 to Paquette. That's well hit into left field. Floyd back. Oh, what a catch by Cliff as he reaches high. Took a double away. That could have been the 5th hit in a row.
Boy, good thing he has that probably all a 6'4" frame. 6'4", 220. And this ball is absolutely crushed. Another breaking ball, and he just turns on it, just never elevated it. And look at that full stride reaching back over on the dead run. Floyd makes an outstanding play.
Now Drew. A 5-1 Cardinal lead. They won last night 10-3. Drew with a 1-0 pitch, 2-0.
Dan Maselli is warming up in the Marlins bullpen. He's just coming off the disabled list, and they have really missed his presence.
Big swing. 2-1 on Drew. There's Maselli.
Veteran presence has really helped a lot of those young Marlin hurdlers down there in the pen.
He came back and caught Drew. 2-2. We have a couple of friends join us here in the booth. Justin Mann and Joel Thomas. Talk about good luck charm.
Man,
they step into the booth. They see the catch of the year, and the 13th time the Cardinals have gone back-to-back, and they see McGwire's 20th of the year. Hauled out over the inside corner, and Drew says, Ray, I know what you were talking about earlier. 2 out. So Drew heads back to the dugout dejected, and Eli Marrero will stand in.
Joe, I think I told you part of the success with Garrett Stephenson revolves around pitching inside. You don't hit balls out of the ballpark on your fist.
We're in the 6th. Cardinals lead by 4, and that jars the mask loose for a moment from the face of Baco off the bat of Marrero. Strike one. Need some hot tea after this. Can't talk. That's into right. Should end the sixth. What an inning. What an inning. The sixth here tonight. May 24th. Cardinals Marlins. A 1-1 game. Thanks to this catch in the top of the sixth. In the bottom half, the Cardinals went to work. After hits by Rennery and Edmonds, McGwire with number 20. Lankford followed that with his 9th of the year. Back-to-back, another lead. 7th inning, 5-1 St. Louis. Cardinal fans, here's the opportunity for your family to be the family of the game. Enter to become the Southwest Airlines family of the game. It's easy. Send in a postcard and you're entered to win. One lucky family will be selected at random from the entries received to be the Southwest Airlines family of the game. Log on for low fares. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of e-freedom. And how about our super fan of the game? There she is. Made a sign, came to the ballpark. She is tonight's Fox Sports Net super fan of the game. Make a sign when we're doing a game. Come to the ballpark, and if our cameras find you, you will be that, the super fan of the game, and you win Fox Sports News shirts.
If you're as cute as she, you don't have to put our names. But if you're not, you better put our names on.
That's right. 1 ball, 1 strike on Baco. Leading off in the 7th. With a pinch hitter Derek Lee on deck, and then back to the top, Gonzalez. A 1-1 to Baco. Rolled over to second. Leadoff man is gone, and how key is that after a big offensive barrage in the bottom of the 6th?
And it's important for Garrett to do what Kyle did like last night, go deep into this game, get through this 7th, try and get through the 8th.
Derek Lee will bat. Vladimir Nunez is gone after 6. 5 runs, 9 hits. A couple of home runs mixed in, and by the way, the Cardinals now have hit a major league leading 94 on the year. They've done the back-to-back trick 13 times this season.
So they've also scored 300 runs on the season. And this is our 45th game.
There's a changeup, and Lee is way out in front. 1-1. 3 strikeouts along the way for Nunez. He walked a couple. 1 ball, 1 strike on Derek Lee. That's strike 2.
Garrett kind of smelling the victory, pouring it on.
1 out, bases empty. Got him on the inside corner, and now Lee spins out of there, the 2nd out of the 7th. Five strikeouts for Stephenson, and that's his first since the 3rd inning. 100 pitch night, Al.
Yeah, retired the last 6 in a row. 68% of them are strikes, so but try and get through this inning, get the 8th, and you're still fairly economical in your pitches.
High hard one, and Gonzalez fouled it back. First at bat for Alex, hitting 164. A late replacement for the injured Luis Castillo, who jammed a left knee. That's into right center field. Long run through. On the move, he's there. Inning over. Marlins go in order in the 7th. Time to stretch, and these fans have already done that a number of times. Standing ovations, cheering, what have you. They should be all loose by now.
On Tuesday, June 20th, when the Cardinals play the San Francisco Giants, it's AMC Theaters Keychain Night at Busch Stadium. First 25,000 fans ages 16 and over with a paid admission receive a Cardinal keychain from AMC Theaters. Bring the keychain to any AMC theater and receive a free popcorn, valid through October 31st, 2000. Don't miss out on AMC Theater Keychain Night, Tuesday, June 20th, when the Cards battle the Giants. Baseball Thursday right here on Fox Sports Net. Blue Jays versus Red Sox, 7 p.m. Don't miss it. That's tomorrow night on Fox Sports Net, 7 p.m. Former Cardinal farmhand Armando Almanza, left-hander here, to take over here in the 7th inning. It's our Lowe's call to the bullpen. Lowe's home improvement, improving home improvement. This guy, Joe, I remember last year when we had watched him pitch, we never realized that he threw as hard as he did.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. 20
appearances, the ERA at 1.62.
We saw him the first time he came out of the bullpen firing darts.
Yeah, strikeout an inning, but almost a walk per inning. And he's learning here. But I remember hearing, well, they said, he'll pitch in the big leagues because he's left-handed. But then he's throwing 94, 95 miles an hour.
Ball one to Garrett Stephenson. This bullpen is as good and as young a bullpen as there is in baseball. Anchored by Alfonseca, their closer. Braden Looper, another guy they got from the Cardinals with Almanza. They also got Pablo Ozuna, who is a middle infielder and has been up with these Marlins this year. And it was a good trade for both. The Cardinals got exactly what they wanted. Heck, they got a 24-year-old shortstop right now who already has a World Series winning hit on his resume, and the Marlins got some young players that they like a lot as well.
Well, you know what? If you project Osuna out 3 or 4 years, you know what you get? A Renteria of today.
Stevenson is gone. Sure, under his breath says, that's fine, I'm happy to go. Just give that to me in the 8th.
Well, you know, and that's really the philosophy. You're pitching out there, you've got a 4-run lead. You go, I want to get back on the mound. You want to have a pitcher to have the mindset that says, I've got a 4-run lead. That's all I need. I don't need any more. I want to get back on the mound and start working.
Vina slaps one down the third baseline. That should be a double. Fernando cruises into second. He's there with only 1 out. More runs would be most welcome with Renteria and Edmonds coming up.
I forgot to tell you the disclaimer to the mindset of a pitcher. If you want to give me a few extra ones, I'll take them.
Okay. That's an important disclaimer.
Right here, he just kind of slaps it right inside the third base bag. Gets down into the left field corner. Vina's speed, double all over it.
What a fun couple of games we've had the chance to broadcast here the last 2 nights. Tony La Russa in our pregame was talking about the team aspect of things and the way this group as a club has been winning. One guy does it one night, another guy another. It's not just the same guy night after night. And it is certainly evident here tonight that the guy who's been struggling the most has an all-world game in Ray Lankford. He has 2 hits tonight, a home run and a home run saving catch.
And don't forget that Garrett Stephenson, even though he still has some disbelievers, continues to pitch well and pitch deep in a game.
1 ball, 1 strike on Renteria. Interesting to read the quotes by John Bowles, the manager of the Marlins, saying we played everybody. We played some teams this year. That, meaning the Cardinals, is the best lineup we faced.
And you're talking about a team that won 7 out of 10 against Atlanta and the Mets. Recent play.
2-1.
They have some injury now. They felt like when they had everybody healthy that they could play heads up with anybody. But now the injuries have started to pile up, and they are not that strong to overcome them. You imagine this team in a couple of years, though.
It is staggering to think of the kind of talent they have. Pitching and everyday players. To the right side, but that'll be the 2nd out. Over to third is Vina, and he's there for Edmonds. Did advance the runner, which is always nice, but in that spot with 1 out. drive him in. Now it takes a 2-out hit from Edmonds. Feeney at third. Jim has 2 singles tonight, 35 RBIs on the year. Mets and Padres just underway in San Diego. Philadelphia trying to come back on Houston. They trail 7-4 at Enron Field in the 7th inning. 1-point trail 7-0. Edmonds takes ball 1.
So look at the trade, the Renteria trade, and what it did. This pitcher, Braden Looper, Osuna. Then think about the Manti trade with Atlanta. They got tonight's starter, Nunez. They got an Abraham Nunez, which is another price, and Brad Penning, another starter.
To the right side off the bat of Edmonds, and the 1-out double is wasted. No runs, 1 hit. Cardinals strand their 4th of the night, lead by 4 after 7. Savile Row Custom Clothiers, the creators of the 1-to-1 personal wardrobe planning service. I'll bring you Cardinal baseball tonight. This will be a big inning for Garrett Stephenson. Not only is it the 8th with a 5-1 lead, but it's the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Marlins. Kotze, Floyd, and Wilson. What do you have for us in this inning, Garrett? How about a bunt attempt by Kotze, and the first out of the inning? Thank you very much. 1 away.
Well, it looks good if you are safe.
Looks great for Garrett Stephenson and the Cardinals now that he's out.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it could say it that way too. We appreciate it from a Cardinal standpoint.
Making friends is our business.
Hey, congratulations to Joanne Hoffman, who is retiring from teaching at Belleville Township High School East. So, Joanne, sit back and enjoy those Shakespearean novels.
Cliff Floyd hath doubled here tonight as he fouls it back and out of play. We will not be speaking to you anon. Instead, tomorrow's game, that's what anon means. Very good with Shakespearean English.
What are they checking there, Bill?
They are checking the palm of Cliff Floyd to see if his fortune is that he will get a hit here in the 8th inning. Instead, he almost gets a bruised right knee. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
You could say this, that you have Garrett Stephenson out there, over 100 pitches now, and then the first batter tries to bunt, first delivery. Floyd swings at the first pitch. Now he's 106 and
he's
almost out of the, almost got the 2nd out of the inning.
I think he's picked up at least 3 outs in 6 pitches.
There,
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Floyd would have gone right to the dugout if he was at the mercy of the umpire.
2-2, 1 out, nobody on, and a high towering drive into right for Drew. Stumbles out in right, backs up to make the catch, 2 out. Like he tripped on a toy that was left out in the living room. Says the father of 2 young girls. Is Mike James. He's out in the bullpen just in case. Worry-free vacations. And dare we say it again, it's been almost a worry-free night out in that pen for the 2nd night in a row. Preston Wilson now takes a strike. How about the night for Garrett Stephenson?
Well, at least Wilson went out there and made him throw 1 more pitch this inning, but can't say enough about him. He gets through this 8 innings and stronger as he's gone along. Retired 9 in a row at this point.
1 ball, 1 strike. That should end the inning. Had him played perfectly. Tricky little hop. Another 1-2-3 inning. Garrett Stephenson has been flat out in control the last 3 innings. Cardinals lead by 4. Tony La Russa told us before tonight's game about the importance of it being a total team effort as you make your way through a season and the wins start to pile up. Well, tonight has certainly been that. As we take a look back, we first highlight defense and Eli Marrero gunning down 2 potential base stealers. Happened to be the same guy and the best in the league, Castillo. The catch by Ray Lankford in the top of the 6th inning to keep it tied. Then in the bottom of the 6th inning, a 3-run shot by Mark McGwire that fell into the flowers in left center field. Followed by Lankford going back-to-back. The Cardinals do it for the 13th time this season. Major League record is 15 times, by the way. Mark McGwire applauding. Garrett Stephenson giving a high five to Ray as he comes back. But everybody should pay tribute to Garrett Stephenson and the job that he's done here tonight, working through 8, pitching a 5-hitter, and he and the Cardinals lead 5-1 into the bottom of the 8th.
And Joe, once he got that lead, I mean, he just got even better and retired the last 10 men in a row. Braden Looper will take over here for the Florida Marlins, another former Cardinal farmhand.
They're saying we might not beat you, but we're going to remind you of the good pitching that you traded us for Edgar Renteria. Looper can bring it up there as hard as anybody.
But you know what? I think he's starting to learn to be a pitcher. You know, he only has 8 strikeouts in 22 innings. Actually more walks than strikeouts, but his sinking fastball is a lot better. Slider's a little more effective.
A little high to McGwire. Poured in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. 97 from Braden Looper. Looper was with the Cardinals in the spring of 98. And Mark McGwire was more impressed with Braden Looper and the stuff that he had in the Cardinals spring training camp for the first time, coming over in 97, than anybody he saw that year. Looper then came on and got the final 3 outs in the first game of the year against the Dodgers.
Got a save in that game, went right through the heart of the Dodger order.
The 3-1 to McGwire. Leadoff walk from Braden Looper. McGwire is on. Lankford will bat. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, who brings freedom to the net with affordable fares and frequent flights. Log on for low fares. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of e-freedom. And by Auto Tire. We'll win you with great prices. We'll keep you with great service. Now Ray Lankford, a nice hand for Ray as he stepped in there. Strike 1. A crowd of 34,105 paid to see this one. And there isn't one person after a nice catch by that guy. It'll go home. I don't care who you're rooting for tonight, disappointed with what they saw at the ballpark tonight. What a night. A little pitching, a little defense, a little hitting. Grant Brown, as he should, especially with a left-hander at the plate, playing behind McGwire at first. Never any reason to hold against McGwire at first. A 1-1. 1-2.
Well, Ray needs to finish off his good night. 2 for 3, another home run. And a little tougher when you're facing a guy like Looper and his velocity.
A 1-2 pitch. Into left field. Caught by Floyd. He makes another fantastic catch, but it's worth pointing out again. Lankford just made a bid for his 3rd hit of the night. He looks like a different guy than we saw 4 days ago.
Well, that's how streaky he can become. And I think we saw the longest streak that he's ever had a drought in. There, you know, he's making contact. Striking out at an alarming rate, not making contact. You know, that was what was most concerning. But it's been nice to see a smile on Ray Lankford's face. That's what you need to see, is Ray smile.
Paquette Strike one. Craig tonight is singled. He's also lined out to left. Robbed of a double on a leaping catch by Floyd. Cardinals came into this game with 20 errors on the season, leading the National League by plenty, tied for the Major League lead for fewest errors. They committed 2 errors tonight, but nobody, even if you watched every pitch of this game, probably couldn't even tell you what the error was. I've watched every pitch of this game. I can't tell you without looking down at my scoreboard. An error on a pickoff throw by Garrett Stephenson back in the 5th. A pickoff throw back to second. And an error as Paquette pops it up into shallow right. There's Kotze. The error on Vina on what could have been a double play ball. He dropped it. No further damage was done. His first error of the year. Coming up next, it's the all-new National Sports Report, the nightly show that gives you a complete wrap-up of all the day's sports news, including Rangers Royals. Jalen Rose voted the most improved player in the NBA. And A.J. Foyt open mic. And there will be plenty of highlights of this game. Drew tonight is double, bounced into a double play and struck out looking. Ball one. Cardinals have plenty of action out in their bullpen. They've got James up. They've got Moeller up now. Drew slaps one down the left field line. Big Mac, take it easy. He goes to third base. Floyd is going to dig it out in the corner. It's a double for Drew, and it's second and third, 2 out.
Second double for JD tonight. Continues his fine hitting, and they're slicing that ball right into the corner. See how it really comes off the bat of a left-handed batter and just keeps on going further away from the left fielder. Nice barehanded pickup. Floyd can play, can he?
He can play. Played first base until that accident he had. Now the Marlins here are in an obvious situation with second and third, 2 out. What they're talking about is Garrett Stephenson is the next hitter. The Cardinals have Thomas Howard on deck. So if they walk Marrero, does Tony La Russa pull Howard back and let Stephenson bat, or in other words, is that a decoy, or is he going to lift Stephenson after 8 innings?
I would have to think, the way someone has been warming up in the bullpen with a day game tomorrow, that Stephenson probably would not be going back out there.
111 pitch night for Stephenson, and Marrero chops to third. Millar gets it on the high hop, flips an ugly throw over to first, but the inning is over. That means we go to the 9th inning. Who's going to pitch? Cardinals lead it 5-1. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Budweiser, the beer with the fresh, clean taste that's never filling. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Well, Ray Lankford has certainly had some kind of night. 2 hits, including a home run. Was robbed of the hit his last time up, and he is tonight's Budweiser play of the game. The catch in the 6th inning took a home run away from Millar. The beer with a fresh, clean taste that's never filling. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Without a doubt, that is tonight's Budweiser play of the game.
It was a 1-1 game right there when he took that home run away.
Millar hammers at the first pitch and fouls it back.
I mean, they're trying to help Garrett Stephenson get through this game, aren't they? Garrett does go back out for the 9th inning.
3 of the last 4 hitters have swung at the first pitch. Ball and a strike. Could it be that Garrett Stephenson gives the Cardinals their first complete game of the year?
Right now, we got to hope he is.
That's the first out. Left field, Lankford, Renteria, and Ray makes the catch. That's like guarding somebody in basketball. They're about to shoot, and you go in and duck as you run in toward him. But Renteria didn't bother Lankford, and thankfully Ray took charge. Baseball Today delivers the inside pitch on all the day's baseball news from our powerful lineup big league expert. Baseball Today, weekdays at 5 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. That's 11 straight retired by Stephenson. Back to Garrett. Another first pitch swinger. Brown is gone. 12 in a row. And Garrett Stephenson can smell it now. The Cardinals' first complete game of the year is 1 out away. But I don't understand the thought process there. The guy's thrown almost 120 pitches on the night. And it's a 4-run game, and you go up and offer it the first pitch.
Well, there is no thought process in my mind.
But other people will tell you that the game has changed.
Well, I know, but I mean, Joe, it's just common sense that, you know, allow the pitcher, you know, now see, do that. You know, you're at the stage until you get a strike, then you go to half.
0-1. Dave Berg stands in Garrett Stephenson's way. 1 ball, 1 strike as this crowd gets into it.
Let me ask you this, Joe. Do you think Millar, who popped up the ball, or Brown, who hits a little swinging bunt, you say they saw the pitch that they thought they could drive?
Breaking ball grounded to short. That is it. Cardinals win it 5-1. And without a doubt, the best all-around game of the 2000 season. From pitching to defense to timely hitting. 2 errors mixed in. But that is a very, very small negative, Al. What a game.
Well, outstanding. It starts with starting pitching. We've had 2 good starting pitching efforts, and we have 2 victories. Starters do the job, and their defense does their job. The hitting will be there.
Garrett Stephenson gets the first complete game of the year, retires the final 12 in succession, wins it 5-1. We'll be back at you on Friday night. Cardinals and Mets, first of a 3-game set on Fox Sports Net. The National Sports Report is next. Good night.